She let yourself settle. That's it. Feel the weight of the day melting away, like threads unraveling into the quiet. Pause. Breathe in and out, deeper now, as if you're breathing in the scent of old parchment and lavender. The air is warm here, heavy with the smell of wool and candle wax. Pause. Listen. Can you hear it? The clack-clack of the loom, steady as a heartbeat, each click pulling you deeper into comfort. Long pause, sound effect suggestion, faint wooden tapping. Our story today begins in a tiny stone cottage, where the firelight flickers gold on the walls, where the wind hums through the thatched roof, and where a weaver's hands move, like whispers over her threads, slower, softer. Her name is Alara, and tonight she weaves more than just cloth. She weaves dreams, descriptive, immersive. Picture it, the hearth crackling low, the loom's wooden frame worn smooth by generations of hands. The yarn in her fingers is as soft as dandelion fluff, blues and silvers spun from twilight itself. Pause. Alara's foot presses the pedal. Clack, the shuttle flies. Swish, and with every pass, the threads tremble, as if they're alive, whispered, because tonight, the loom is singing. Hypnotic suggestion, let the rhythm slow your thoughts. Clack, like footsteps down a quiet path. Swish, like leaves brushing your window. Long pause. Mysterious, gentle, Alara leans closer. Her candle casts long shadows, and there in the tapestry, a pattern emerges. Not flowers or nights, but words. Words only she can see. Pause. The threads hum, a lullaby forgotten by time. Sleep, little one, the loom knows your name. Softly sung, then fading, deeper transcenduction. Your eyelids grow heavier. As the song wraps around you, the fire dims to embers, and the loom keeps clicking, clicking. Good, so good. Let yourself sink deeper. As the loom's song grows clearer, a melody spun not from sound, but from silence between clicks. Pause, then whisper. Alara's fingers brush the newest thread, a silver one, cool as moonlight, and when she pulls it taut, the cottage changes. Hypnotic imagery, the hearth's glow stretches, the walls breathe, and suddenly, you're not just listening, you're inside the cloth. Pause for absorption. All around you, half-woven dreams float like mist, a castle of violet thread, a forest where leaves are stitched with emerald silk, and there a gap in the pattern where the loom hums louder. Voice tilts with curiosity. Alara leans in, her breath stirring the threads. Show me, she murmurs, and the silver yarn shivers. Sound effect suggestion, faint metallic chime. Mysterious, slow reveal. The tapestry parts, just enough to see a sleeping village, nestled in the weave. But something's wrong. Their dreams are fraying, unraveling at the edges like old embroidery. Tense whisper. Alara's hand hovers. She knows this sign when dreams fray. The dreamers forget how to rest. Long pause, letting the weight settle. Guided relaxation. Feel your own edges now, smooth. Secure, wrapped in the story like a blanket. Each word a knot to keep you safe. Urgent but soft. The silver thread tugs her finger, a silent plea. Mend it, the loom seems to say. Clack, 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 faster now. Pace quickens slightly, then slows. Alara selects a needle, not of metal, but of owl's bone, hollow and light. She threads it with a strand of her own hair. Can you feel the whisper of it passing through? And begins. A some sure trigger details. Feft the needle pierces. Cess the hair thread pulls tight, over, under, through. Each stitch a sigh of relief for the village below. Pause with sewing sounds. Direct suggestion whispered, you're weaving too now. Not with hands, but with breath. In, clack. And out, swish. Your heartbeat the pedal. Your stillness the shuttle. Long pause. Alara smiles. She feels you helping. The tapestry brightens. The frayed dreams knit themselves back. Warm tone. Transition to sleep. The loom slows. The fire dims. And the last thing you see is the silver thread curling around your wrist, gentle, as a promise to continue tomorrow. Tactile descriptions. Alara's fingers trace the spot, and oh, the threads there are stiff, pricking like brambles. A nightmare caught in the weave like a burr in wool. Pause for listener to imagine. Soft warning. She knows better than to pull it. Thorn dreams fight when yanked, so instead, she reaches for a vial of cedar oil. Sound suggestion, glass clicking softly. Pop, the stopper comes free, and the scent. Breathe it in like an ancient forest, like the inside of a hope chest. Long, luxurious pause. Slow, deliberate actions, drop by drop. The oil soaks into the nightmare. Plink, plink. Each one a whisper. You're safe now. You can soften. Voice tender, maternal. Now, the comb. Carved from a willow that wept over a river. Its teeth glide, shake, through the tangled threads. Rhythmic, repetitive sounds. Hypnotic suggestion. With every stroke, the nightmare unclenches. And you, yes, you, feel it too. Muscles unwinding, thoughts slowing, shake. Pace matches combing, awe-filled reveal, as the thorns melt away. The threads shimmer, rearranging into a wounded fox. Its paw trapped in silver, the same silver from Alara's hair thread. Pause for emotional impact. You were never the nightmare, Alara murmurs. You were just lost. The fox whimpers, and the loom answers with a deep wooden creak. Sound design, old wood settling, guided empathy. Maybe. You've had thorn dreams too. Ones that scratched, that clung. Imagine them now, dissolving like honey in tea. Warm, liquid tone, melodic, almost singing. Alara hums as she works. A tune older than the cottage. Fox in the flax, don't you cry. Let the oil and the willow untie. Every snag, every fear, melt to starlight, disappear. Voice fades into instrumental humming for 20 seconds, then softer, then silent. Transition to sleep, the fox's threads loosen, its shape blurring into the greater pattern. Just a hint of amber in the tapestry now. Contented sigh, the loom sighs too, clack, clack, slower, slower. Pauses grow longer between words. No more thorns tonight, just the cedar. The hum and the knowing that all dreams, even sharp ones, can be unraveled with kindness. The loom is dreaming now, and its dreams are different. Long pause filled with imaginary wooden creaks. Behind Alara's chair, where the candlelight almost doesn't reach, hangs the first tapestry she ever wove, but touch it, and the threads hum backwards. Whispered revelation, gently ominous. This cloth has no scenes of castles or forests, just shadows of hands, hundreds of them, all frozen mid-stitch. Pause for visualization. Alara calls it the loom's shadow, because it remembers what the weaver forgets. Every dropped needle, every snapped thread, every tear that ever fell on the warp. Sound suggestion, a single droplet hitting fabric. Hypnotic mirroring. Maybe you have a shadow like this too. Not bad, just unfinished. Soothing tone, secret sharing whisper. There's a way to hear its story, but you must listen strangely. Alara presses her ear to the cloth and breathes in through her nose while humming. Demonstrate a nasal hum with closed mouth vibration. Guided participation. Try it. Just softly. Feel how the vibration changes when you think of that unfinished project, that apology unsaid. Pause for listener to attempt. Astonished whisper, and then oh. The tapestry whispers upwards into her, not in words, but in flavors. This stitch tastes of burnt honey, that one of snow that fell too early. Synesthetic descriptions, slow revelation. One hand shape stands out, smaller than the rest. When Alara tastes its thread, her mouth floods with salt. Pause. Ah, she sighs. This is where I cried over the first scarf I ruined. The loom clacks once, not in sympathy, but correction. Sound effect. A single, emphatic wooden knock, reframing gently. The tapestry isn't mourning, it's keeping every mistake. Preserved like seeds in winter soil. Waiting, voice full of quiet wonder. Ceremonial pacing. Alara takes a brass thimble from her apron, fills it with meltwater from the winter's first ice, and holds it to the smallest hand shape. Metallic ping sound. Drip. The water touches the thread, and the backwards humming slows, unraveling just enough to show. Dramatic pause. Soft epiphany. Not a ruined scarf, but a bandage, woven in desperation for a wounded sparrow that later flew. Sound suggestion, distant wings fluttering. Healing suggestion, what if your shadows are like this too? Not failures, just stories waiting for their second breath. Voice fades slightly, singing slightly off rhythm like a music box winding down. What the shuttle let fall, the warp will recall. Every tangle, every tear, changes pattern, never err. After the song, the narration slows dramatically. The candle gutters. The hands in the tapestry blink, or maybe it's your eyes. Getting so heavy. Words stretch like taffy. Transition to sleep. Let the backwards hum, and the taste of snow. And the knowing that nothing is ever truly lost. Carry you, carry you. Last words barely articulated. Listen closely now. When the village clock strikes 12, the loom wakes. Pause, letting the silence hum. Alara is asleep in her chair. Her hands still curled around phantom threads. But the loom? Oh, the loom needs no weaver tonight. Whispered awe, delicate, mysterious, at the very edge of the tapestry. Where the fabric meets the nothing beyond the frame, the threads begin to unspool themselves. Sound suggestion, faint unraveling whispers, this is the selvage. The margin between what is woven and what could be, and tonight, it's breathing. Pause for tingles. Guided visualization. Imagine that edge now, not sharp like scissors, but soft like the moment between waking and dreaming, where thoughts turn to mist, voice turns hazy. Hypnotic movement, the shuttle rises, floating on moonbeams, swish, swish, as if guided by invisible hands. Long pause with weaving sounds. Watch how it moves, left, right, left, each pass slower than the last, pulling not with wool, but with strands of starlight. Sound suggestion, celestial chimes. Sleep suggestion embedded, your eyelids. Heavy as the shuttle, moving slow, slower until they close, timed with listeners' breathing. Wondering whisper, what does the loom weave when no one watches? Not scenes, not stories, but the spaces between. Here, a single stitch where a child's nightmare almost began, but didn't. Sound, a tiny plank like a raindrop diverted. There, a knot that holds the exact shape of the wind just as it changed direction to spare a butterfly. Sound, a minuscule whoosh, personalization, and maybe if you listen very still, you'll feel the thread that belongs to you. The one that's soft to your hardest day without you ever knowing. Emotional pause, confiding tone, Alara stirs, but doesn't wake, because this is the weaver's true secret. The loom remembers how to weave, long after hands forget. Metaphor for sleep, just like your breath knows how to breathe. Your heart knows how to beat, and tonight, your mind knows exactly how to let go. Words dissolve into silence, fading intensity. As the moon sets, the shuttle settles. The selvage edge knits itself back together, but leaves behind Dramatic pause. One single silver thread dangling just so, twinkling when your eyes are almost closed. Sound suggestion, a faint ping like a distant bell. Final sleep trigger, let it swing left, right, left, counting you down. 5, 4, 3, until even the loom is dreaming, and you oh so deeply. Last word stretches infinitely. She, the loom, sleeps now, but in the rafters. Other weavers are just beginning. Pause for the imagination to climb upward. Alara calls them her little sisters, the spiders who spin their own dreams between the beams. They're self-catching not flies, but lost words. Sound suggestion, an almost inaudible plank of dew on web. Scholars whisper, every web is different. Just like handwriting, the fat garden spider writes in bold boops. The tiny house spider's web looks like cursive. Pause for mental images, but the most special one, the lace weaver in the northeast corner, her web shimmers with dramatic whisper, ... punctuation, tiny silk commas that pause the wind, woven question marks that tremble when secrets pass beneath. Sound effect, a web vibrating in draft, guided discovery. Can you feel the spaces between these words? Not empty, just waiting for your thoughts to settle into them. Long, comfortable silence, reverent tone at dawn. When the light hits just right, the webs become a single sentence spanning the entire cottage. Alara has only read it once, on the morning her mother died. Quoting, "What is held becomes holding." The spiders rearrange their webs to catch her tears, literally. Each droplet jeweled on silk like typeset letters. Sound, a tear plinking onto stretched threads. Healing metaphor. Your worries now, see them like that. Not gone, but transformed. Strung across something stronger. Made beautiful by how they catch the light. Voice grows reflective. Secret sharing tone. There's a way to question the webs, but you must ask sideways. Alara breathes onto her silver thimble until it fogs, then holds it up to catch. Sound, sheet of warm metal meeting cool air. Interactive moment, the condensation forms. Not random droplets, but an answer. Last Tuesday, it showed a ship. And that very afternoon, a letter arrived from across the sea. Marveling whisper, imitation. What would your thimble show you tonight? Don't think, just let the question flow. The webs are rearranging already. Assess SK, web adjusting sounds. Mythic tone. The oldest web belongs to a spider no one ever sees. Her threads are thinner than size. Her catches include the exact shape of I forgive you before it's spoken 7 stitches worth of time itself. Pause for wonder. Alara leaves offerings in her corner, not flies, but a clipped fingernail, because what grows past us matters. A single grain of salt for stories that sting. And always, always one loose thread from her apron. Ritualistic listing, personal connection. What tiny gift would you leave? Not with your hands, but with your next exhale. Feel it traveling upward, joining. Sound, a faint whoosh of air toward rafters. Revelation pace. Here's the secret. The loom's warp threads connect directly to the grand web above. Every clack sends vibrations upward. Every swish is answered by silk. Sound, distant sympathetic vibration, which means dramatic whisper. When you followed the shuttle's movement earlier, you were weaving too, adding your rhythm to the great pattern. Empowering pause. Final sleep induction, now the spider's work. The loom rests and you, precious thread, are being gently held in a web much older than dreams. But single silver hair, the one that catches moonlight when Alara bends over her work, it wasn't always there. Pause for the past to settle. The village midway found it first, wrapped around the newborn Alara's wrist, thrumming. Sound suggestion, a taut string plucked underwater. Ancient storytelling tone, long before looms. when the world was all warp and no weft. The first weaver sat by the world tree's roots. Her name was Nalthea, which means she who mends the gaps. Paused like a thread tensioning. One endless night, the tree offered her a choice. Keep your shadow, or take my heartbeat and make something new. Sound, a hollow thum like a giant loom's pedal. Hypnotic choice, can you feel that moment? Not deciding, but hovering like a shuttle suspended between threads. Voice floats mid-sentence, building wonder. Nalthea chose an awe. Her shadow became the loom's frame, her breath the shuttle, her tears the first dye. Sound, a drop hitting water in slow motion. But the tree kept one thing, a single strand from her youngest memory, and spun it into dramatic whisper. Time's selvage edge, that fraying border where it now meets next. Sound, cosmic fabric rustling, physical sensation, that's what you feel. Just as sleep takes you, that almost unraveling moment, that's Nalthea's strand reaching back. Voice stretches thin, soft revelation. Every true weaver is born with one silver hair. The midwives call it the loom's fingerprint. Pause for intimacy. Alara's hums when storms approach. It tightens when someone lies near her. And tonight, it's vibrating like a plucked harp string. Sound, a ghostly twang at the edge of hearing. Connection point. You have one too, not on your head. But here, voice touches listener's wrist and imagination, where your pulse meets silence. Ceremonial instructions, every full moon. Alara performs the secret. She places a drop of her left tear, never the right, in a thimble. Winds the silver strand counterclockwise around a cedar needle. Sings backwards the lullaby the loom taught her. Sound, reversed whispering. Participatory magic. We can't unspam like she does, but breathe with the rhythm. In, needle turns, out, thread hums, in. The past tenses, out, the present softens. Breath-matched pacing, ear-opening whisper. When the silver strand resonates, the loom doesn't clack. It speaks in a language made of the sheet-cake of wool through a comb, the pop of sizing bubbles and starch, the fate of a thread biting through fabric. Sound collage. Mind-opening suggestion. Your thoughts are translating it right now, not into words, but into weightlessness. Voice loses all tension, as if leaning impossibly close. The strand isn't silver because it's old, it's silver because it's empty. A needle's eye without thread, a loom without cloth. Haunting pause, which means life-changing whisper. It can be filled with whatever you're ready to release. Last guided action. Feel it now, that cool silver touch at your wrist. Drawing out the day's dust, the week's grit, the year's burrs. Swish, gone. Sound, distant sigh of relief. Final lullaby pace. Alara's eyes close. Her silver strand goes still. The loom holds its breath. Pause with suspended animation. And you, dearest thread, are no longer listening. You're being woven into the space where all unfinished patterns wait patiently